Hey, it's Cheryl Sitz coming to you live on a Monday. How is your week starting out? I am hoping that Amy Renee is going to be joining me on this. I've put the invite out there. I'm not sure what happened with her, but hopefully she'll be jumping on here as we go along. So you may have noticed this year I'm doing Facebook Lives with all kinds of people about all kinds of subjects. And what's happening is I'm reaching out with folks who've been on my show before on exploring possibilities and inviting them to collaborate so that we can do different projects together. So throughout this year, you'll see me doing all kinds of different projects with people who've been on my show. And hey, thanks for joining me. So what's been going on with Amy is we started a women's circle. And we decided we'd follow the moon cycles, we'd alternate the moon cycles. So we're meeting about every 6 weeks on either the full moon cycle or the new moon cycle. And our theme is around reclaiming our feminine power. Hey, Mario. So along that theme, we've been having lots of great conversations. And it's funny because we had our first circle and all the women who came were busy. So they were trying to have this circle with us while they were doing 50,000 other things. And it's nothing on them because it's all of us, right? We get so sucked into busy. And even if it's for a great cause, I mean, even if we're volunteering or donating our time and money, or we're just passionate about our business or whatever it is, it seems like busy is the new norm. So, and that's Amy texting me. I hope she hops on here because she wants to share with you too. So I said, why don't we do a Facebook Live about ways that we can reclaim our time? Because I think even if we know these things, it's a good reminder. And over the years, I've developed a few things that help me manage my time. So I thought I would share those with y'all for anybody that's looking to break free of busy, because busy can take over our lives. And it's fine until we're not spending time with our family. We don't have time to take care of ourselves. Women are particularly good at taking care of everybody else first and ourselves last. But we all do it. We get sucked into being busy. So some of the ideas that I jotted down that I wanted to share with you, one of them is to remember that I make my schedule and I can change it. So do you ever find yourself reacting to the stuff you've got on your calendar, even if you don't really feel like doing it anymore? I think it's so empowering to say, you know what? I can change my calendar. I can change my mind. It's really liberating. And there's all kinds of ways that you can do this. Women also, more than men, but also some men. Hey, Amy. So I'm going to try and bring you on here. Let's see. What do I do? Here's the little people. Okay, let's see if she comes on. It says it's adding. So thank y'all for being patient while we're learning how to get unbusy enough to have a video about being busy. Isn't that hilarious? Anyway, what I was saying was, that we forget that we make our schedules and we can actually become a victim to racing around trying to keep up with our calendars. And it's really nice to just wipe it clean in a day and start your calendar over. Hey, Amy.
Hey.
Welcome. Were you busy, honey?
I just had a friend stop by, so
oh, cool.
It took off. So I apologize for being a little bit behind schedule, but I'm here.
I'm so glad. Yeah, so I've already kind of just talked about how we have this women's circle that meets every 6 weeks online, and we'd love people to join us, or anyone that's looking to reconnect with their feminine aspect. It's not just women. But how when we had our first circle, everybody that did make it was busy, and a lot of people didn't make it because they were busy.
Right.
And so we decided to do this thing about being busy.
Right. Spot on. And it's, it's our choice what we do with our time. And if we want a free time for something, we do it. If we say we're busy doing something, it's because we're doing what we're choosing to do, whatever that may look like. So if this is something that really speaks to someone and they feel that perhaps being in a women's circle, and the last one was kind of about empowerment, and I apologize for the phone being a little bit shaky. But to show up, do what it takes. And, making those steps for me, what I found is that if I put something on my calendar and I see it or put, and so, oh. Can you hear me? My cat.
Yes. Yeah, so it really is about creating a system that works for you. But one of my other favorites is like people will say, "Well, I really wanted to do that, but I don't know if I'm going to be available." Like
Right.
taking control of our calendar and saying that's my commitment to myself. It's like if nobody else needs me, I'll be able to have this time for myself. And we've got to take better care of ourselves than that. It's an
Absolutely.
invitation to say, if this is important to me, I'm going to carve this time out and I'm not going to commit to anything else but taking care of myself or pampering myself or resting, right?
Absolutely. Like a lot of times we're so busy doing for everyone else or doing whatever we think we have to do that we don't take time for ourselves. So exactly. So Mario says, who is priority?
Yeah.
Who are we making priority in our lives? For me, it's about finding that balance of taking care of myself and also taking care of those that I'm connected to.
Mhm. Yeah, and you put it in the right order, Amy. Oftentimes we we put priority on everyone else first because our eyes face out, so our reality's out there. But
Yeah.
honestly, if we don't take care of ourselves first, we find ourselves running on empty, getting
Yeah.
cranky, wondering what's wrong, can't find our center again, and it's because we gave it all away, right? We
It-
gave from an empty
right.
cup.
So spot
Absolutely.
on. So that's something that, you know, looking within, and if you do find yourself kind of tired or spacing things off, like what's behind that? You're
Mhm.
spacing things off. At least I find myself, if I'm spacing it off, it's because I'm not taking care of myself. So to really look at that and say, hey, what do I need to do for myself? So,
Absolutely. And another thing is asking for help. I mean, if I have
mm,
something that's important for me to do and I really can't juggle the things that I've got going on, other responsibilities, I can remember to ask for help. And other people probably would love to help me so I can do something to take care of myself. So
right.
it's again putting ourselves as a priority enough to say, I deserve to ask for help and get some
Help.
support here so that I can do the rest of what I want to do and be the rest of
Yes.
who I want to be.
Yeah. And so I
Absolutely.
am curious for those that may be on and watching right now, like, is there a certain time that you do find to be beneficial for you to where you are perhaps online for classes or advice that just may really help you? Busy
Yeah,
as
I
life
love
is
it,
now, so.
Mario. Absolutely. Yeah, one of the things Amy and I want to do in creating these women's circles every 6 weeks to reclaim our feminine power, we have to try and do that at a time when we can show up. So to help you reclaim your feminine power, number one is, when can you show up? And of course, with that is, if that's your best time to show up, then are you willing to commit to yourself and make yourself a priority and put it on the calendar and say, I'm important and I deserve this, and all of that good stuff. So that's all part of time management, is declaring yourself important enough, and also streamlining some other things maybe so that you can create that extra window of time.
Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, one of the things I wanted to make sure I mentioned when we were talking about time management is how important it is to stop every day, because it seems like when we get busy, we go faster and faster and crazier and crazier. And the last thing that we want to do is stop. Like, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to sit still for 10 minutes and just be
Right.
there. And it's like, when we do that, when we do that, what we come out with is this great sense of peace and clarity and decisiveness, and we can just go, that's not important anymore. I don't need that anymore. This is what like we can chunk through that to-do list pretty well and knock a bunch of stuff
Right.
off of there, right?
Spot on. So, and what comes up for me is like a lot of times first thing in the morning when we first wake up, notice what you're noticing. What are your thoughts? Those very first thoughts. Are you worried about what you have to do during the day? Or can you just take a moment and breathe in the appreciation for being in a comfy bed, having a good night's sleep, and setting the tone for the day, what you want to call forth?
Mm-hmm.
It makes a huge difference for me anyway.
Oh, it does. And having like a bit of a morning routine. And I fall out of my routine. Hey, Paul, I fall out of my routine sometimes, but then it's like feels so good to go back and get into it again of, oh yeah, first thing out of bed, I drink that water. First thing out of bed, I sit and have quiet time, especially outside if the weather's permitting, and connect with nature. First thing in the morning, the vitamins, the different things that are the most important, putting myself first does set the tone for making sure I feel important enough to take good care of myself all day long. And when I wake up and I put everybody else first, go straight to my, social media or my to-do list, like the whole day is derailed. The whole day goes that way, and I end up burnout and cranky by the evening. So it's true.
So I have a question for those that are watching and on. What do you do to balance your time? Paul says balancing the inside before you go outside. Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and please do answer that question. And while you're responding to that, I also want to say something else that helps me stay peaceful throughout the day is silencing a lot of the alerts that aren't urgent. Like everything has an alarm with it. Everything we install on our phone, everything we can respond to has an alarm on it. And if all those things are going off all day, I'm just like, what's next? What's next? And I silence like 99% of that. If you really need to reach me, call me, because pretty much everything else is going to be quiet, and I've got it marked in my day where I get to it. So do you manage all of those interruptions that way, or are you like jumping every time something goes off? Because that can also be very stressful.
Right. I usually do at least
Mario's meditating.
Yeah, 5 minutes of meditation in the morning. Absolutely. That's my favorite way to actually start the day before I actually get out of bed, just to lay there and just connect to breath. And like this breath that I'm taking is life, and how beautiful and amazing that alone is. And then to thank my body for being healthy and allowing me to move with grace and ease, and having an alert mind, like really gratitude, coming from that space of gratitude. And then in the daytime too, like sometimes things might get a little hectic. And when you do find, at least whenever I find myself like in that hectic space, like that's when I know it's time to take a moment and to step inside like my inner self, and just connect again to the breath, like that grounding piece, just connecting with the breath and slowing things down. And then movement, walking slow, like really appreciating like the steps that we are taking.
I love that you said slowing down. Thank you. Thank you so much, Micah. And I love some of the feedback about the meditating in the morning and the connecting with nature and the observing. And I love what you said, Amy, slowing things down. Like we get sucked into the pace of life. And it's like as the day goes on, we find ourselves going faster and faster. And we can just stop. We really can just stop and breathe and reset the pace, our way, live our life our way. It's so empowering and it really keeps the sanity. Well, like I'm one to talk about sanity. We won't go there, but it helps us feel better.
It does. Absolutely. Yes. Just to reset. It's a way of resetting. So
Yeah.
two beautiful
Yoga
so
movement.
much.
Yeah, yoga's good. Even just walking, even just to move that energy through if stress is building up in the body. We're very sedentary in a lot of our jobs. And if we're sitting at desks all day, it's so good to get up and walk. You know, we used to get up and take cigarette breaks all the time. It's like, why can't we get up and take health breaks, mental health breaks, physical health breaks, and just take a
Right.
break?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just, and something that that's come into my life is actually the body after sitting for 25 minutes, like our brains just kind of drift off somewhere else. So to take a moment to stretch, to go get a drink of water, and just to reconnect and shift that energy, shift what's going on, and then come back. So,
Yes. Bring the focus back to the body, back to the heart, back to the breath, back to the fact that we're actually a live being doing all these things and not just a
right.
machine, right? Because if we can just go unconscious and just be like machines running around trying to get everything done. And I find that the more I come back and center myself and breathe and whatever, in traffic, in these stressful situations, it changes everything. It just changes everything.
And yeah, it
Awesome.
does. And that's such a perfect time, like when we are in traffic. Some people choose to get angry because of, you know, there being at a stoplight or whatnot. When ideally, how might we use that to our advantage? What can we do within that time, in that space? Where is that focus at? Is it focused on what you don't want? Or perhaps you can focus on what does feel good, taking that time and that space to maybe think about someone that you would love to connect with.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking that question, Mario. Yes, timers are a fabulous idea. In fact, that was one of the things that came up out of our last women's online circle that we're talking about doing every 6 weeks was that we want to take breaks every 2 hours and play, do something
Play.
that's pure play, jump up and down, go roll in the grass, go turn on a song and dance, whatever our space that we're in allows, to have those every 2 hours that we play. And that's been really fun. And there's some wonderful timers out there too.
Yes, absolutely. So another thing that came up with our last conversation, our video, was to release. So when we bring something else in, to create that space. So what might you let go of? What is not serving you right now? What is something that could possibly be changed in your life? And then within that, what would you love to invite in place of that? And for me, I definitely felt like connecting to higher vibrations, that joy, that fun, that childlike play and innocence. And so what I chose to do is to set an alarm every 2 hours from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to remind myself to connect to that. So like you were speaking, like 8 o'clock in the morning, I play with my dogs. Like I make it a point to play and just be a child again. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning, I've got my alarm set to play what I call a high vibrational song. So I did a post on Facebook to find out those songs that people connect to, that no matter what mood they are in, when they hear the song, like it just feels so good. And so I was able to add so many amazing songs to that. And it's been awesome. And then on top of that, I
Yeah.
mean, there's many ways of connecting to joy, whether it be doing a good deed for someone. So giving to not only ourselves, but to others out there. Like, what does it feel like for you when someone takes a moment, someone takes time to do something nice for you, even if it's like just a compliment or opening a door? So just really being there for one another and ourselves.
Yeah.
Hi, Tracy and Anita.
You're right, Hope. That multitasking is a myth. It's all about the present moment. And Paul, I love what you said about detaching from the material world. It's like play is a great way to do that. Meditation's a great way to do that. Um, for me, Facebook isn't just, for some people, it's a way they promote their business or a way they see their grandkids' pictures or their kids' pictures or whatever. For me, I have a lot of really inspirational stuff on Facebook that reminds me to come back to who I am. So fill that social media feed with the kind of stuff that really feeds your soul,
Oh,
because that's another great way to remind yourself if you get lost in the material world, because this is the playground for us right now and we can get
right.
lost in it. So it's great to be able to come back.
Absolutely. That was one of the first things that I did for myself. I started finding inspirational quotes and then I started posting them and putting them in an album. And now how they have like a year ago today that pops up, and some of these that just pop up, it's just a really good reminder, like this is the perfect moment for this to come back into my life and just remind me. And it just it
Yeah.
feels so good to reflect. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, what is the unfollow is a healthy, oh yeah. If you don't like your timeline, if your timeline stresses you out, unfollow. You don't have to unfriend people, just unfollow. I have friends in my life that I don't necessarily want to talk to every day because they're not the most uplifting, positive people, but I want to stay connected with them. I've known them for, ever. So I don't follow their stuff. I don't see every day what's going on with them, but I can pop by anytime I want to in their timeline and check out what's new with them. And it's
Right.
my way of managing my energy every day so that what's in my timeline is really what I want to feed my day with.
Right. What does feel
Absolutely.
good? Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, one of the things that we hope feels good is our new circle, and it's all about reclaiming the feminine power, which is our emotional side. It's our internal side. It's the side that we're talking about. It's not out there, it's in here. And if
Here.
you're interested in reclaiming your feminine power, Amy and I meet every 6 weeks, and this time we're going to be doing it on the full moon, which is going to be May 29th. It's a Tuesday night. It'll be around this same time. We hope you can join us. It's via Zoom. And we'll post the link to the event and in the comments here so you guys can see it, and back up at the header. I think it'll let me edit that so you can find our event. We'd love to have you join us, and we cover different topics that are real for you. Where are you looking for help in
Right.
reclaiming that side of yourself?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Amy, you got anything to add before we close out?
That really feels good. I just want to be here to support our community and to come from that heart space to really feel into to our emotional aspect and to our hearts, to what we truly desire and at the same time need, using the wisdom to integrate this experience of life to the fullest. Thank you,
Yes.
Mario.
Yes, thank you, Mario. And Hope, I see your little hearts there. Hope runs a live women's circle as well in Spring, Texas. And we'd love to have, yes, it's all about community. We'd love to
Yes.
have your ladies join our circle. And Amy is up in Kansas City and I'm down here in Texas. But thanks to technology, we are together doing this. So it's
Right.
a lot of fun. We hope you'll join us.
Yes, please do. Thank you so much, Sheryl, for doing this and doing our first Facebook Live. And I look forward to
Yay!
connecting again.
And we'll see you guys very soon, 3 weeks, May 29th. Hope you'll join us and have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.